Okay, so this is gonna be funny / questionable crap from my previous situation. I will say though that I'm not really sure how many people actually would find this type of stuff funny, but I guess it doesn't matter because apparently, and I mean realistically, I only make these videos for me and for other people who are in these types of situations or who have been and are trying to escape or whatever. I don't really make the videos for views. Like at one point, really nobody watched any of these videos, but I still upload 300 times a day. I can definitely say that unfortunately, it maybe has become like a really, really bad coping mechanism since the abuse evidence channels. It almost kind of makes me regret the fact that I made them, but whenever people let me know that my videos help them, even back even back during the abuse evidence videos, when people would say that it helped them or that they're in the same situation and me breaking things down helped them understand more, it did make me see the purpose in it. Because I do want people to understand what's going on and that it's more than just, I don't know, people are usually going to gaslight you to tell you. But either way, I find this stuff funny. And I know people are probably going to be like, this is about to be some crazy, horrible, depressing stuff. And I mean, maybe to some people if you're really, really soft. But I honestly feel like this stuff is actually pretty funny. If you have the sense of humor that you should have living in the world that we live in. So I'm looking at my notes. Wait, this is my targeted individual notes. Okay, no, 8:30. Hold up, let me pause this. Okay. I gotta go to 51. Hold up. This was so funny to me, I'm not even gonna lie. So this was, wait, am I even recording? Oh, this was one of those situations where due to a life of never having anybody to talk to about how you feel about certain things or just certain things that are going on in your life, commonly people that are labeled off as quote-unquote narcissists or high-ranking Jezebel, Leviathan, and a setter spirit-filled people will argue with themselves. Or if they don't argue with themselves completely, they'll start an argument with you and then they'll talk junk about you for an hour. You could have literally left the house and went to the store and you've been gone for 3 hours and they'll still be talking when you come back and they've been talking to themselves in a corner about it. And the thing is, I know people say that's insane, but honestly, I can totally get it. I mean, I don't want to be doing that because for one to be doing that, that means you've let stuff get to you and instead of getting out of situations, you're arguing with yourself in a corner. But I totally get it though, when you don't have anyone safe to talk to. Or anybody at all, really. So, this is what they'll do. They'll argue with you or with somebody else, even though the person they're arguing with isn't even there. So that's what my mom was doing here, quote-unquote mom anyways. So her boyfriend had left, but the situation is so funny. And I don't remember this happening. I guess maybe I was asleep or something, or I just wasn't there. I wasn't paying attention. But pretty much, she was about to leave the house to pull up to work when she finally had got another job after her and her boyfriend had had a fiasco at the last one. And so she was backing out the driveway of my sister's house. He ran up on the car, secretly, very quietly, got on the side of the car or something like that, and he held on, pretended that she hit him with the car, and then started banging on the window. Once she got to the end of the neighborhood to go to work, talking about you hit me with your car. And then she was talking about I don't recall hitting you with the car. That's so funny to me though, I don't recall hitting you with the car.
Why would you ride on the car all the way to the entrance of the neighborhood and bang on the window when I get to the stop sign, getting ready to leave out the neighborhood? Because you see, I was getting ready to leave. I wasn't going to turn around and come back because I don't want to hear that shit. So then you wait till we get to the entrance and exit of the neighborhood to bang on the damn window and say, you hit me with your fucking car. You hit me with
so sorry, but like that's just so funny to me. I know a lot of people are gonna find this like maybe disturbing, but honestly, I feel like, I mean, I guess it could be disturbing, but I don't know. I don't care what anybody says. That was super funny. Honestly, a lot of stuff that happened was funny. And I think that's one of the things about like this type of demonic stuff or demonic oppression is that some of the stuff that happens is like so crazy to where it's just hilarious. Cause it's like, if somebody hit me with a car, I don't even know what to say about that. That's why looking back, like I was just looking back on this like a couple minutes ago, sitting on the bench and talking to my own baby sister, and like just talking to her even gave me like flashbacks of different things that happened. Like honestly, it's just so eerie when you think about it. Like a lot of people that have escaped or got kicked out or whatever have these different, there's a mosquito on me. They have these different like, what's the word for it, epiphanies, I guess I could say, where you just look back on everything and it's crazy that it all even happened. It's crazy that you got out and it's crazy that you survived. But anywho.
Now, how smart does that sound? If somebody hits you with their car, you claim purposely in front of the house, why would you ride the car all the way to the edge, going out the neighborhood, and then tell them they hit you? Come on. Please don't make no mistake.
But yeah, there was that. And then another funny thing about that is now I'm having like more memories. After this happened, he got off the car. Cause he like had his feet on like the back part. But I don't even know if I'm explaining this right. But anyways, like the part in the back that you could put your feet on, because it was like one of those Jeep things. But anyways, he got off the car, and then he went to the neighbor's house that don't even like us, especially because of him. And then he told them about how my mom hit him with the car, quote unquote. And I was labeling this video off as his first suicide attempt, if I can even say that word on here. But I guess I can't even say it was really a suicide attempt because like he didn't even get hit. But I don't know. Okay, I forgot this part. I think I should play this part.
Stephen think a lot of people scared of him, so he think he's wanting something. That's what you're supposed to talk to me.
That's what I've been saying.
I don't give a damn.
I don't know if she has her headphones. I don't think she. But yeah, honestly, the only person that was really truly scared of him was my brother, my younger brother. Other than that, it was kind of whatever. And it's like, I feel like when you go through certain stuff, if you really have like, if you're just lucky enough, you don't really get scared easily and you just get used to the bullcrap and the chaos. Like, people feel like I'm supposed to be scared because of like my current situation, quote unquote, but like honestly, this is not, man, please. This is the last thing to be scared of, dealing with people's little stupid comments and just like being scared to sleep outside. It's like, honestly, no. Although I would prefer like camping in the woods, but that's just because of like, it's just overall better. But yeah, people just act like I'm supposed to be scared to go about daily life, which honestly, I don't get scared easily, but something has to really be happening, but I don't know why it would be. This is the most decent things have been, but anywho. But yeah, I'm not even gonna lie though. I often forget about how much evidence videos I actually have left. Like, even with all the stuff that CPS did snitch about and get deleted, I still have so much stuff left and I forget about it. And then after escaping, I forgot what my abusers even looked and sounded like. Like, I completely forgot what my quote-unquote mom and quote-unquote dad looked and sounded like until I had to, like, see their faces again while going through my different smear campaigning, because different people I know were, like, letting me know since 2022, really, that I was being smear campaigned all over the internet. And so that's how I started, like, going over, well, looking at my quote-unquote mom and quote-unquote dad's Facebook pages and different things like that, just to check on things, which honestly was pointless because there's nothing I could do, and there still is nothing I can do about the smear campaigning. But yeah, anywho, let me pause this. Or is this the video? Oh, I remember, man, this was so funny. At least to me.
Take my Jeep up with what the fuck you did in it. For everybody to damn just you. That's not fair. I supply for one too many people. Chocolate only supply for her check. Mama get a check. You ain't took that boy getting no haircut yet. Spending money because they're doing shit. D-Lo been getting 1 and 2 days check. You ain't got to take that boy to get no haircut. That's the shit that I keep arguing about. But every time y'all get mad and get an attitude, first thing y'all want to say, oh, my son, my child, my child. Well, goddamn it, let me see you goddamn put in the motherfucking work. We got his uniform. We got his shoes to start off with. Y'all can at least go get that boy damn book back and get his haircut and go buy him a new pair.
And it's like, honestly, looking back over this stuff, even if I would have, like, not got put in the Cash for Kids system placements and I would have got to actually, like, be in school, and I also wasn't chronically ill at the time due to, like, a lot of different bullcrap from the iatrogenics and my organ health and stuff getting bad, like, I don't even know how I would have went to school anyways, because, like, I mean, look at this. This was 10:53 a.m. Like, a lot of these videos take places at times where I'm supposed to be at school, and it's like, instead of, I mean, I wasn't in school anyways, but, like, let's say I was, I would just be dealing with, like, having to go to school after hearing chaos for, like, multiple hours. And this is a part of enmeshment, parentification, surrogate spousing. I think I already said emotional incest, maybe not. But, like, how you feel doesn't matter, but you have to, like, take on the emotions and listen to the situations and even the complaints that people have about you. And you have to, like, be the emotional support pet. And I was going to make a video eventually soon about the cycles of life again, kind of like I talked about in the Whoopens the Whoopens are the New World Order video, but this is going to be a part 2 where I talk about cycles even more, especially with the story of a person I recently met, and even something that just went down earlier today that really adds to how people constantly fall into these cycles, and, like, generational curses play a big part in it. Like, I think more and more every day about how hard it is to, like, break these cycles. Like, even when I was still in my abuse situation, I always thought about how hard it is to not become a quote-unquote narcissist, which honestly, I don't like cycle labels. I don't believe in them. Honestly, I feel like being a quote-unquote narcissist is just like being like pretty much just about everybody else. I mean, you get it from how society is, so it's just being a reflection of society. But it's like, it's so hard to not become a lot of things and to not become the usual. And I know people are probably going to feel offended by that, but I mean, it is what it is, and if the train fits right, like a girl said in ATL. Okay, wait a minute. What am I doing? Oh, yeah.
That's why I said I'm not gonna be there all the way to the least end. The chocolate got her ways too, and at the end of the day, I be trying to.
And actually, funny enough, if I was in school, my graduating year would be, what was that, like 2026? No, not 2020. I think it was 2027 to be honest, but at least 2026.
Hold my composure, because at the end of the day, I'm the oldest, I'm the parent. But I can't hold my composure for so much when everybody in the house acting like motherfucking assholes and fucking fruitcakes. Then that make me want to act like a motherfucking asshole. And at the end,
And a fruitcake.
and at the end of the day, motherfuckers ain't seen shit. Cause I flip the fuck out on every fucking body, take my Jeep up with what the fuck it is. Me and mine can go to a shelter and let.
You know what, though? I was showing this to somebody, like, some weeks ago, and they were like, I can tell just by how your mom sounds that she would never, ever go to a shelter. And it's like, honestly, with the fact that I've been in like the homeless community and like shelters, well, I've been to shelters. I'm not for staying at them, and most of them are like full in every state anyways, but with the fact that I've been in these environments now, I could definitely say absolutely not. No, she would never. She would never and could never. Like, honestly, being in those types of environments and like looking back at this video and just hearing her say that bullcrap, no, she wouldn't. No, she would not. It's so funny now looking back. I mean, I always knew that they were bad because I know that like there is no good institution, but like really seeing it multiple times over, especially in the West Coast, absolutely not. No, she wouldn't. It's funny that she would even say some bullcrap like that. She thinks.
Shelter helped me get in my own fucking place.
Although I will say that, like, due to the fact that she has a couple of kids that are still like younger, there is a small chance that she would have got help with a voucher, especially like in the South, due to the fact that she has kids. Other than that, if she didn't have kids, it would pretty much be up in the air. Then that would be, so, oh well, too bad, so sad. But I won't lie though, being in a toxic family system and having 11 plus people living in a house, at least at this point in time, it was about like 11 plus. In my sister's house, which was also 4-bedroom, it definitely did cause like a lot of extra issues. Okay. I had to stop and talk to somebody. I'm trying to remember where I was even at and do this quick, because I am getting bit up and I gotta use the bathroom. So, I'm not gonna lie though, I usually find that last clip way more funny, but I think I've watched it too much in the past month. I think that's what's wrong. Okay, there's one part in one of these videos that I cannot find, but I've been trying to find it for forever. I've been trying to find it again for like a year now, and it was so funny, but it was in one of these parts from 7/30/22, which all of them aren't even in this playlist. Like, there's 3 right here from 7/30/22, but like there's so many more videos from just this day and this specific situation, but they're in another playlist. In fact, I think some of these videos are from different channels, but anywho, because I had the Inmates Truth channel, which is now Anti-STR, Anti-SRA, and then I had the Part 1 channel, the Part 2 channel, the Part 3, which the Part 1 to Part 3 was deleted by CPS, or with CPS along with my abusers. Specifically, my older enabler sister, my mom's boyfriend, and my mom. So CPS snitched about the videos. What was it? I used to remember these dates, and I could just say them off the bat. But if I'm remembering right, it was 2/14/22. CPS snitched about the videos. No, the case started. Also, when my mom, oh dang, I'm getting bit up. When my mom got me put in the sped self-confined placement. That was 2/14/22. 2/23/22. No, 2/22/22. CPS snitched about the videos. By 2/23/22, my older neighbor sister, my mom's boyfriend, and my mom had deleted the Part 1 to Part 3 channel. But yeah, I think I'm remembering this right. But I still had the Part 5 channel. Wait a minute. I still had the Part 4 channel, the Part 5 channel, and the Part 6 channel. Although, the Part 5 channel was pretty quiet because my mom's boyfriend had went out of town for 6 months and then came back. And my mom gets, like, kind of depressed when she doesn't have, like, her partner in crime with her. Because people with these types of soul fractures and level of demon possession and voids can't handle being alone, even though they technically are alone regardless of what. Because they're still void of God and void of themselves, but they can't handle being alone, so when they don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they get depressed. and so they get quiet enough. So things were calm for a good couple months in the part 5 channel, and then it wrapped back up or whatever. Or racked back up, I don't know. Part 6 channel, those videos are they were already unlisted because my abusers watched my channel, so like I didn't want them to see the videos, and that's when I originally ran to Cali and different things like that. Although I am thinking about going through all that and making it public so people can just see like just different things that happen on a daily, which honestly was usually me like being mad about certain things or just talking about things, talking about me running from cops, talking about cops being after me, kind of like now. But I even remember this one video I recorded on my miniature phone, and it was from when I had almost got locked up, charged, and sent back because the police started harassing me and tried to run me over me drinking a frappe pretty much at the boardwalk. And yeah, I actually mentioned this situation a couple of times because police in Cali do this to street kids really often. Like, the Billy kid I made a couple videos about, he mentioned the same thing happening to him, police trying to run him over. Somebody in the comment section of that video, which I actually talk about in one of the videos, also told a similar story of police in LA trying to run them over. Although I don't go to LA. I studied SRA sex trafficking since I was like 6-7 years old, so I know not to go to LA. But this did happen in Santa Cruz though, so I also know to avoid San Francisco, which I didn't even hear that much about that till recent times. But anywho, where am I supposed to be going? 7. I gotta remember which video was it. Was it this one? Hold up.
Splash blood in the goddamn street. No, because you doing speed limit. You drive wrong. You drive away when you angry. I ain't drive away. It's a fucking flood. Okay, and then you still swerve after the fact. Because it's a fucking flood. Okay, Steven. Okay. Don't shush me, shush yourself. I'm shushing myself. Oh, okay. God damn it. I'm shushing me, so I don't say shit. Okay. What I'm doing. Okay. But you ain't never drove no goddamn car and ran over the fucking water and water. Okay, but you still doing what you don't like.
Okay, so somewhere from 7:54 to 8:42, I wrote trauma bond, codependency. Yeah, that's what I wrote. And in some video, I was supposed to like show a timestamp at 1:56, I think. Oh no, I wasn't. I'm reading it wrong, actually. So I think this is it. Actually, yeah, this is 7:30:22, 1:56 p.m. Or at least that's the time it ended.
The fuck? You dying to join in? No, I'm not. I'm ready to open my mouth. That's all the fuck you doing to join in. Shut the fuck up. Right. That's right. Because the second I talk, your motherfucking mouth gotta run. Because you died for me to shut the fuck up. Motherfucker. What are you talking about, man? That's why you don't be wet. That's why I don't ride with you no fucking well. You gotta do it. You always ask, and all you got to do is do the same. If you shut the fuck up and I shut the fuck up, when we ride together, it'll be a peaceful ride. That's why I don't ride nowhere with you. That's why I don't ride nowhere with you. Even when you talk, she showed you 5 years, Stephen, and when you talk, she don't want you to say nothing. She wants you to shut the fuck up, so she's gonna run her motherfucking mouth so you can't say nothing. So you can listen to her goddamn run off. And if you felt like that for 5 years, why the fuck you stay here 5 years plus? Why the fuck you won't shut up? I ain't got to shut up. Man, why you have to I ain't in your life. I ain't in your domain. If I had a problem with it, and I'm coming.
And that's the thing. People with this level of demonization cannot handle being alone. They need a partner in crime. They need supply. Although I would say that both of these people are the abusers. People always like to paint the women as the victim. And I know, like, if anybody even watches this, they'll probably act like I'm the bad guy. And, like, I'm exploiting my quote-unquote mom's trauma, quote-unquote. But no. People need to stop trying to make women the victims all the time, and it's like, in fact, this is something I notice a lot, like, oh my gosh, this is something I notice a lot, like, even with Nova's mom, Tania, because I'm getting shaky now. She's another example of a single black woman who's always trying to paint herself as a black victim. People always want to make the women the victim, but the only real victims are the kids. So in many quote-unquote domestic violence situations, the woman and the man are both the perpetrators. They perpetrate together against not even just the kids, but really everybody around them. So yeah, I know people are always going to try to do that. Like, I remember when I was still doing the evidence channels, the only thing people ever really cared about was the dog that we were supposed to, well, that my older sister who we lived with was supposed to be quote-unquote watching. People cared about the dog, but not about any of the actual humans in the situation, because that's how anti-humanism works. In fact, that's when I originally started saying anti-humanism, pro-transhumanism, which revolves around the theory of evolution, ancestor worship, and animal worship, white supremacy sometimes, because they commonly like dogs more than really anybody. And a lot of people are like this because they say the only safe thing in my life is my dog, and my dog never will leave me, and my dog's never mean to me. But honestly, if your dog could talk, it'd probably talk junk about you too. But that's not even the point though. Dang, I'm getting bit up. Because on the evidence channels, I talked about many things that happen, and not just me obviously, but other people in the cash for kids system, other things that were happening to other relatives. Like, honestly, it's still so crazy that I recorded the 1,950 plus abuse evidence videos the way I did, and then just to still in the end have to accept the fact that there is no quote unquote help, just the cash for kids system that's put in place to make you a statistic, experiment on you, take you through trauma-based mind control, help your abusers, traffic you, etc., etc. You have to save yourself. But it's still really crazy that, throughout all the different things that happened to various different people that was shown, all people ever cared about was a dog. People even blamed me. In fact, I still have those screenshots, and the comments are still there in the videos I have left of the dog situation, of people saying, poor dog. People only ever cared about a dog. They blame me for not quote-unquote helping the dog, and it's like, the dog isn't our dog. It's not even like my sister's dog. She's supposed to be quote-unquote watching it, but instead my mom's boyfriend was tasing it and strangling it and kicking it in the face and burning it with cigarette lighters, all types of stuff, with her quote-unquote watching it. But still, I couldn't give away somebody else's dog. And the other thing that people cared about was the abusers, as usual, because so many people are either perpetrators themselves, or abuse is just so normalized where people have cognitive dissonance. So even throughout all the cash for kids system abuse, my older scapegoat sister being driven insane due to all the manipulation and gaslighting, even another situation that went down where well, no, that's actually too long to even explain. But the essay from my mom's ex-husband, my older scapegoat sister. Luckily, I didn't live there at the time. I didn't actually move with my mom till 12, and when I moved in with her at 12, that's when the cash for kids system abuse started. Which, before I had even pieced together the cash for kids system abuse, me and other people were just saying I was going through Munchausen by proxy. But I realized that the medical system and the cash for kids system as a whole is Munchausen by proxy. They're there to create an issue that isn't already there, by brainwashing you into becoming something that you're not. But anywho, there was that, what was I saying? Hold up. I don't remember what I was getting at, but I remember the overall point is that the only other thing people cared about was my mom specifically. I think in one unlisted video on here, no, I don't even think it's unlisted actually, I think it's public, where I talk about if it's worth it to even record abuse evidence or not. And I show some of the screenshots that are still in my email and stuff. And there was this one message or comment somebody left where they were pretty much trying to make my mom the victim of the situation, even though she created really everything that was going on, even down to the boyfriend thing. But the boyfriend thing is so irrelevant. Like, even back on the abuse evidence channels, I used to say that really especially this boyfriend, Steve, he definitely put the icing on the cake and definitely helped finish off my abuse situation before me escaping. But like, he's still just like background noise to a certain extent, I feel. Because even with all the stuff that happened, even way before I ever moved in with my mom, like even when I was like still staying with my dad, the cash for kids system abuse, specifically the mental health system abuse and all the trauma of the labels and the gaslighting and the drugging that left me chronically ill by 12, more so 14, and then to still get gaslit about serious health issues that I've actually had to start treating myself, which was easier to do after running because I was no longer being gaslit about how serious my health issues actually were. But even with all, wait, no. I think I was saying that was the most traumatizing part. The mental health system abuse was definitely the most traumatizing part, but the mental health system is tied into every branch of the human cash cow system, so you can't really be in any part of the human cash cow systems without being the quote-unquote bad, retarded, slow, or crazy person. And finishing off the situation, I was retarded, handicapped, and there's another, what was the other term? Special needs? But I don't even think it was that one. It was something else like that. Handicap? No, I think I already said that. I think that was it. So yeah, that was what I was being told finishing off. Which I would, the abusers would like cycle back and forth about different things they were trying to convince me I was. But honestly, one of the things that I've realized though, is that even if somebody is really quote unquote handicapped or disabled, in fact that was the other word, disabled, even if you are, nobody's going to take care of you anyways. If you don't have real family and parents, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you can't talk, you're blind, you're deaf, you don't have 2 legs, you don't have arms, you're in a wheelchair with no arms and no legs. That doesn't even matter anyways, because nobody's going to take care of you regardless. You're going to have to save yourself regardless. And I even remember like seeing cries for help and support groups from like abused kids who wanted to run away, but they were disabled and they were in wheelchairs and they couldn't walk, and they were like, will I even be able to run away? Honestly, unfortunately, maybe, probably not. It would definitely cause a lot of issues. Like, that's really scary to think about though, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that is like almost as scary or similar to being in an abuse situation in the middle of nowhere with no transportation, which actually seeing a guy crying out for help in a situation like that, he was worried he was going to end up unaliving his abusers who had him trapped in like on a plot of land or a farm or something in the middle of nowhere, and he was going through severe infantilization. He wasn't even allowed to use a microwave by himself, and he was like in his 20s, and it was just like really, really bad. That was like some years ago though, but overall, I said this video was going to be funny. I guess it started off funny, but then it got serious as usual. But yeah, so anywho, the clip I just played is an example of how these people cannot handle being alone. She's not quote unquote in his domain, but like she's the one who brought him around and keeps him around. In fact, kept him around at somebody else's house after claiming she would kick him out at somebody else's house, being her daughter's house, who she I guess apparently lives with again, because after I had left, they had all moved. So like when I escaped, they moved to a whole nother state, but apparently they moved back and they live with my sister again, but not in the same place, but apparently a place that's really close by. But yeah, and it's like, it's still all so eerie. I even have a video of my old counselor who I'm having flashbacks already. So my mom had set me up under them, and I was really excited because this was the first counselor I ever had that I was allowed to talk to. I think I had maybe 2 or 3 before, if even that, but I was never allowed to actually talk to them, so it was kind of like, what in the world? But this one I was, for a little minute, until CPS snitched, and then like my mom got paranoid, and then she was like, yeah, I feel like the school said something and that's why. And then my mom pretty much flipped out on everybody, And I noticed when I was looking back over the recording of the conversation with me and the counselor, which was a little while ago, she even lied and made it seem as if she got CPS involved, even though she always said that she didn't want to get CPS involved, because honestly she didn't care, because for one, it's her job to help abuse me. Her job is to push this idea that, like, I don't know, I'm the bad guy, although luckily she didn't do that. I will say that. I remember people used to always say, you only like this counselor because you're comparing bad to horrible or bad to worse or something like that. Honestly, I definitely was, because I'm having memories of this other video I have about another counselor. Not even going to go into that. I think I saw that video too, actually. But, yeah, anywho, I get what they mean now, but, like, even though it's a bare minimum, being in Georgia and having, like, different cash for kids system staff / mandated reporters around me admit that, like, what was going on was obvious, it definitely meant something, even though they did absolutely nothing to help. And honestly, my situation is still pretty drifty due to the fact that there is no help. Like, honestly, if there actually was help, there's a small chance that I could have at least maybe gotten to some type of situation where I wouldn't have ended up homeless. But obviously, if I would have went into, like, foster care, definitely not. Things would have been really worse, because I'd be in the cash for kids system. But, like, if they could have, like, maybe placed me somewhere else, I don't know where that would have been. There's a chance that maybe things could have turned out differently, like, especially if they could have helped me get placed with, like, some of the people at that point in time who were definitely Let Me Help You lunatics before I had created the term, but they wanted to take me in. If that could have happened, things would even still be really different than they are even right now. But the bare minimum was enough for me, and it helped me continue to break free from the cognitive dissonance. I'm not even the cognitive dissonance. I didn't even really need help with that. I actually got free from that really quickly. Most people never do. But I meant to say the gaslighting. That's what I meant to say. It helped me break free from the gaslighting and continue to, like, do the things I needed to do to get ready to escape. But anywho, this counselor was like she was scared that I was trying to sue her, and she was telling me that she doesn't want to give me my medical records or anything because she thinks I'm going to sue them. I've heard this a lot. Wait a minute. I've heard that, what was I even saying? Like, after that, I completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, ageism, and then people not wanting to give me my medical records, or really records of jack diddly, because they're scared I'm trying to sue. That's been a really big issue. But that, and she also was like, you know, you've had a lot happen, and, like, with the videos and all the crazy things that have happened, you can make a movie based off your life. Like, that's so trifling to even say. And she's not the first person to say that, but it's like, I feel like, especially with, like, the situation and what I called her about, and her refusing to do that because she thinks I'm trying to sue her, and then her saying that bullcrap was really bullcrap. And then she was, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, in fact, she even said, make a social media so your siblings can reach out to you when they're ready to run away, because they're gonna run away. Honestly, I don't really know how true that is. I feel like even when people do get kicked out or escape, they commonly end up running back because they realize that, like, people like to make things about your family, and they try to say you just need to move on from your family thing, but, like, I'll totally tell somebody all that stuff is irrelevant. The world is honestly an evil place, and people are full of crap, and they're trifling. The family thing is so irrelevant. Like, I was thinking earlier today, maybe yesterday, about, like, people who do actually have decent, healthy, I don't even say healthy, I don't even really like that term either, but I'll say decent, not like serial and unalive parents. People who have that, and, like, when their parents die or whatever relative passes away that really cared about them and took care of them, a lot of times people go into psychotic breaks behind that. And I remember I used to talk about how people, like, aren't, like, taught to be prepared for relatives' death, and, like, how I once heard this term, a man who doesn't prepare his kids for his death isn't a man, or isn't a good dad, or whatever in the world, something like that. But I was also thinking about it earlier, whatever in the world, and it was like, honestly, I understand it even more though, because it's like, if you actually have like parents or relatives who really actually are like not demon possessed and are safe people who actually care about you, that's like you're like one, I don't even know how to put it. They're like pretty much the only people that will really, really care about you, unless maybe like you're taught to find good partners, and then there's that. But other than that, they're really like all you have when it comes to human beings, other than like God and finding yourself. And it's like, I totally get how that could be so traumatizing for a lot of people, because it's like, once the one people who actually do care about you are gone, then it's kind of like you're left in this world where like it's like a dog-eat-dog world and everybody's for themselves, and as we go into the beast system, things will only get worse, etc., etc. It just makes so much sense. Not that it didn't before, but like, I really, really thought about this earlier. And most people don't even have that. And so it's like, another thing is that healthy people are also usually like really horrible people. Honestly, they're worse than like the usual traumatized person. But I would say healthy people and people with cognitive dissonance that are enablers, flying monkeys, perpetrators, and hold the people who mess them up in the highest esteem, they're equal. Because healthy people usually aren't really good people, but I'm just saying, like, as far as their parents dying, they being healthy people, I can totally get why they have the fallout that they do after that. Because, like, I honestly feel like it would be scarier to have somebody who's like somebody who actually like gives a crap about me pass away, that's like helping me and helping take care of me pass away, and then to be like out in the world trying to survive with people treating me like crap. That would honestly be worse than being used to being treated like crap, I feel. If that even makes sense. At least that's how I feel. Like, I feel like, I don't know, actually not having attachment issues, not having BPD fiascos going on. Like, if I actually was attached to someone and then they like passed away. I'm not even talking about like a side person. I mean like really like parents, to be honest. And then they did. No, is this even coming out right? I don't even know. I think I'm about to repeat myself anyways. But that just honestly sounds way worse. And then the thing is, there is no safe place for people with no family or abusive family. So then it like still ties into the same thing. In fact, when I was in Oregon, I met this boy who's, I think his mom died. I think. At least in the movies we made about homeless youth, he said something like that. I don't know if that was like just a line made up for the movie or if it was like based off of reality. But he came all the way from Pennsylvania. I think he was like 23. Unfortunately, because that means he's about the age out of youth resources, even though he just found out about them. But his mom died. He became homeless. And, I don't know, I'm not for labels, but I could definitely say that, like, I don't know if it's like, people talk about, like, the autism versus, like, I don't know, psychopathic stares, but he definitely would insinuate, like, I don't know, hiding from, like, the FBI or something. I don't know what it was with that. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it was with that, but he definitely was like pretty fishy. But either way though, it's like, now I'm thinking about that more actually, especially with his mom dying. But like, anywho, still thinking about it as if like nothing bad happened. I can only imagine actually having somebody care about me and I'm living with them and then they die or whatever, and then like I end up homeless, and how much harder that is than like just being used to what I'm used to in real life than the hypothetical. Maybe I'm making this too complicated. I don't even know. I think I'm making it too complicated now. It's just something to think about. It definitely is. And I noticed that like also a lot of people with cognitive dissonance who hold their abusers in the highest esteem, when their abuser, hold up, I have way too much spit in my mouth. When the abuser passes away, they get even more cognitive dissonance, even though their abuser was absolutely horrible. Like they'll literally have like a mom who like locked them in caskets for like Freemason rituals and essayed them their whole life, and then when she passes, they'll get even more cognitive dissonance, and like when somebody around them is talking about, oh, my mom stole all my money, they'll be like, how dare you talk about my mom? If my mom was still here, do you know how happy I'd be? Honestly, no, you really wouldn't be happy. You'd be still definitely worse, but I mean, I guess with the level of cognitive dissonance you have, you'd, I don't even know what I was about to say, actually. So it's definitely something to think about. But that was the funny video, quote unquote, and that last clip is an example of people with trauma bond voids, always using people to fill their voids. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, as I always say, dating is prostitution. And like even people from other countries commonly talk about how only in the West, more so America, are people still dating and bragging about getting boyfriends in their 50s and 60s and 70s. And it's like, dating is something that a lot of people do for emotional support, for a place to stay, due to desperation, not being able to accept being alone, which I'm going to talk more about in my part 2 cycles video. How like people just fall into these cycles, not even just with like quote unquote romantic relationships, but like just being desperate, and how I get the generational curse side, and I get the loneliness side and the being desperate and not being able to accept being alone. Even the fact that it kind of is really, really hard to get out of a lot of situations with absolutely no help whatsoever from anybody. But it's also kind of like, I know people are going to get mad at me, and people always say I'm paranoid and have trust issues and stuff, but like, I just could not run into some random person's house, some random chomo, and be getting molested, or just some random toxic person and be getting screamed at and all that over some quote unquote help. Like, so many people are so used to it, but it's like, this dude was saying something, and he's one of the, like, I wouldn't say, he's not like a full-blown thug persona dude. He's not into that stupid thug stuff, but there still is certain characteristics due to the trauma-based mind control that a lot of people 40 plus are under. The effeminate thug persona has certain like traits even when somebody isn't like full blown into the thug stuff. It also goes into baby boy programming and single mom stuff, and like he's one of those types, so it's like he holds his abusers in the highest esteem. So I thought it was just like his cognitive dissonance, but like after something that somebody pulled earlier, it made me really think more about what he was saying, about how it does seem like to a certain extent it's not even just about this person being used to like bad situations and not having anything or anybody, but they just don't really want to do what it takes to take care of themselves. And like, I mean, I didn't really completely not believe him or not want to listen to him, but it's like after what happened earlier, I do think more about that. And I know people will be like, well, I mean, without letting people quote unquote help you, you really can't take care of yourself. And honestly, I mean, with a lot of stuff with age and like just different ways things are and different stuff that's going on, like it's pretty hard for people to really have a place with just one person. Like I remember my mom used to say all the time, this was like in areas where like the rent was like $500 a month, and she would always talk about how it's really impossible to rent a place without it being 2 people working, or well really more than 2 people. And I mean, she wasn't wrong. I never thought she was wrong, but I feel like especially nowadays and in certain places that's even more true, and you definitely need way more than 2 people. But anyway, to get back to the point though, it's definitely not a pride thing with me. Like, I don't not think I need help from people, but I just have enough discernment, and also I'm not desperate enough to run to like these crazy situations that most people do. Like, I don't want to say everybody, because obviously I don't want to be like black and white, even though people think I'm black and white thinking all the time anyways, but I know it's not literally everybody, but literally most people and just about everybody cannot handle being alone for 1 second. And it's like, honestly, I'd rather keep doing the whole YouTube thing as a coping mechanism, even though Palantir is probably watching this, than like run into the hands of some choma, which I would never do that anyways, because luckily, I'm just lucky enough to like have been, I guess, born this way. I just know too much, and I know the spiritual and mental and physical ramifications of that, to where I know why I shouldn't do that for a lot of reasons. But it's like I don't know. It's like people just fall into the cycle of it too. They get so used to it. They get so used to not being able to be alone and arguing with people, and it's like, and that's another thing too that I used to always say, especially when it comes to what I like to call quote unquote "let me help you" lunatics. I did not leave the cash for kids system or really any other abuse situation that I escaped to go be abused by some random deranged person. Like, I don't know who in the world people think I am. That just sounds so crazy. Like, I know most people do it, pretty much just about everybody does it, but like, I could not go be abused by some random people. It kind of reminds me of something that this one dude said a couple years ago in some support group I used to be on. And he was like, I'd rather stay at home and be abused by family than go into CPS custody and be abused by people I don't even know. Even though CPS isn't really likely to even remove that person, but still. It's like, it's just reality though. And it's probably going to be worse. It's going to be the same or worse in CPS custody. And if you haven't already been in the dumb cash for kids system, it's definitely going to be worse. If they even take you, which is very unlikely. Unless there's like feces all over your house and smeared all over the walls, then they'll take you. Which for whatever reason it has to get to that point and be that bad. But it's like, honestly, I'm not even going to go into that rant. But, yeah, this is way longer than it was supposed to be. But, what was I about to say? Hold up. And it's like, ever since I was born pretty much, I've always had a lot of insight about why people were the way they were, even myself really. And like, I could always tell who was being abused. Like, I even remember when I was in literally preschool, there's this whole situation that went down that apparently got put in my school records because it was brought up to be used against me to keep me in the self-confined placement, even though I really hadn't been in school in years, and this wasn't real school either. And also this situation happened not only multiple years ago, but in a whole nother state. But anywho, ignore that rant actually. Preschool, I was 4. And so the preschool teacher, she was like fixing something for me. I think a Lego was stuck together and she was like trying to get it out, and like she was sticking her tongue out. Kind of like how dogs do in cartoons and stuff. And so I didn't think anything of it when I said this, and it's like she took it really, really wrong, but I was like, you look like a dog, and then I started laughing, and it's like she really took it way somewhere else, and apparently she put it in the school records that I called her the B word because of that, like a female dog. Obviously that's not what I meant or was even thinking. And I remember when my dad had told me about that and I had got in trouble for that stupid bullcrap, I knew in my head, she must think that I called her that because she's going through domestic violence. And so in her mind, everybody thinks that she's a female dog. And that's what I was thinking at 4. So I always had a lot of insight about this stuff. But, what point was I getting at with that? Oh, yeah. So, like, especially when I started doing research on, like, the Marine Kingdom at 8. And then at 14, when I started, like, looking into PDs, the DSMV, narcissism, BPD, CPTSD, magical thinking, different cognitive distortions, different things when I was like breaking down and figuring out my situation, terms like narcissist, crazy making behavior, etc., all the different psychological stuff, everything made even more sense. And a lot of people, like the one other person that I could really think about that is able to like, that I'd really noticed similarities with myself in, if this is even coming out right, is Tiffany Buckner. Also, Stephen Darby. Although he's deceased now, but like, they're the first people that I've really seen, well, and Deliverance Chronicles. I started watching him at 14 as well. But they're the first people that I've really seen, like, really piece together things I noticed with the trauma, the spiritual side and the physical side. And it's like, it was just really crazy to me when I found that stuff at 14 through research and looking up on narcissism and the Jezebel spirit. Because it's like, it seemed, dang, I'm getting bit up. it seemed like nobody else noticed the stuff that I noticed. And I finally found out that I wasn't alone in that, and a lot of other stuff as well. And it finally all made sense. And I remember I would, or still do, cry every time I think or talk about the YouTube TikTok rabbit hole that led me to finding out that there was actually a term for everything that I was going through. And it finally made sense. And that it wasn't like a mystery. But anywho, that's not what I was supposed to be saying. I was supposed to be saying that day by day being out here, I realize and understand people more and more. Like even the whole fiasco, which I can't say much due to my location, but even the whole sexual fiasco situation, it's like, even as bad as that is, I can still, this is going to sound really bad, people even really can figure out what I'm talking about in code right now. I can still understand it though, and it's like, even when I think about how messed up I used to be, when it comes to like sexual issues, even like in not infancy, well I mean in infancy too, but more so like as a toddler, it's like I see how lucky I am that I even managed to get out of that. Like most people end up so messed up from that after a while, and it's like, I'm not trying to make up excuses for anybody that's running around assaulting people and stuff, but I can definitely say that like you definitely have to, one, be lucky, but also really want to like get out of that type of issues. Although I would say now things are kind of reversed, and it's like now I have the Chomo Marine Kingdom agents chasing me around. But still, it's like the cycles that people fall into make even more sense. Especially with this one situation of somebody I recently met, it makes me think even more about this. It's like people are all messed up and traumatized, whether people want to admit it or not. Because of course the brainwashed 40-plus-year-olds are always talking about how people these days are just soft, even though they're chomos, they're alcoholics, they're toxic, they have thousands of kids, thousands of baby daddies, thousands of baby mamas, they have cigarette addictions, different things like that, different trauma symptoms pretty much. Living in the false self, demon possessed. Which I mean, I would honestly say, I don't know. It's like also another thing, like I hear people often talk about like deliverance ministries and like how to know if you have a demon. I don't understand why anybody wouldn't have a demon, to be honest. Like just the fact that you become demonized from trauma and from generational stuff, I don't understand how anyone really would not have one. But yeah, I mean, of course that's still different from like being full-blown possessed and running around like torturing people. But I would still say I just don't understand how anybody could not have one. Anybody who thinks they don't, they're being fooled into not fully getting better, especially when it comes to the generational curses. Like, I mean, I can't really, it's definitely a process. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, but another thing that I noticed too, which is probably gonna be the last thing I could say because it's way too long, is that people are always talking about asking for help, but one thing I realized is that I was gonna have to help myself, because like the things that I really, really need help with, they're not even physical. It's like advice for like things that most people wouldn't even understand. And it's like people, they don't even understand me when I'm asking for help or advice for certain things that are happening. It's like they can't even really tell what I'm talking about or what I'm saying. It's like I don't even think it's just about me not being able to like put the words together, or like going on too many different rants and side stories to try to make it all make sense, when it's really hard to get it to make sense without talking about it in person. But I noticed years ago that really nobody can actually really help me with any of the things that I really, really need help with. And so that's pretty much it.